Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Backstage Spotlight. Today we've got Jacob Smith.
Hey
Hello.
guys.
How are you?
I am good. I'm very good. Nice
Good.
early morning, feeling refreshed, ready to get on with the day.
Great. So me and Jacob actually went to college together. We were in the same year at Lane.
Mhm.
So this is quite funny, actually. You're the first person in our year that I've got on my podcast.
Really?
Yeah.
Hey.
So
Wow.
that's quite special. Would you like to say what you're doing in the industry at the moment, and we'll go from there?
So I'm currently on tour with the musical Hairspray on the UK tour, and I'm playing IQ and I'm second cover Link. So
Amazing. So
currently,
good.
yeah.
Fantastic. So let's take it back from like and to your childhood. You did child performance, didn't you? And it's kind of been in your life ever since you were little. So
Literally.
when was that first moment that you knew that like performing was going to be a thing?
I think it was quite the same for a lot of people. I know a lot like when I was younger, I did pantos and like kind of going on stage and just like seeing everything. It was like, this is what I want to do. And then from then on, kind of auditions popped up through like my dance school for like Matilda and stuff. And then literally went on the audition and everything just jetted off from there.
Wow, that's
So yeah,
fantastic. So how old were you when you did Matilda?
I was 10 when I did Matilda back in 2015,
Oh my
which seems
goodness.
ages ago now. And then, yeah, I did that for a year, which was like the best experience of my life still to this day.
Oh, that's so
Literally.
wholesome. And
Yeah.
how was that audition process when you were 10? Because obviously, like that's quite a lot to go through at that age.
I being in auditions now, it wasn't that much different. Like we went in, learnt the routine quite quickly. And then of course recalls, go in, sing the song, sing the material. It was a little bit more, catered to because we were younger and we didn't have our own rep folders and stuff. But like regarding like the choreo and stuff, I was in learning that choreo, doing it in groups. It was literally no different to as it is now, which is crazy to think.
Yeah, it's mad. So
Mm.
how what was your role in Matilda and what was your track like? Did you enjoy it?
Mm. So we did it on 6 month contracts, and for the first 6 months, I was Nigel, who was a little bit more of like a
He's the sleepy one, isn't he?
yeah. So he had like a little bit of like a few little lines and stuff, and I felt a little bit, And then as I kind of got taller, they were like, "We're gonna bump you up to Tommy," which didn't have as many lines, but he
Oh,
was more of the dance track, which kind of like for me is like just made sense. So I kind of had more of a dancey track, it was very much more of a busy track as well. Like I was doing a lot more furniture moves and stuff because he was the older one. So it was quite nice that they acknowledged that and kind of bumped me up in that way.
for sure.
So yeah.
What was your favorite thing like scene to do?
I was Revolting Children, like that number and the scene before it is like, it's like the audience go crazy. Like I still remember like just doing it now. I know that whole show back to front. If I'm ever back in the room for it, I don't even need to do the audition dance. I'll just do the whole show for you.
Just like one man show.
Literally, literally.
And did you get the opportunity to do like events like Children in Need, stuff like that?
Yeah. So I actually did the one show with Matilda, and this is quite funny. So I actually had finished my contract, and I was like, I said goodbye to it, and then they were like, "Look, we need people to do the one show next week. Are you available?" I said, "Yeah." And I went in, and it was outdoors, and we did Revolting Children. And there is a clip somewhere on YouTube if anyone wants to find it. And I did indeed basically the music was out of time, and it started to come back in before my like line. And when I tell you, I froze video evidence, I froze. So type in Matilda the One Show and you can see me go, Horde, and then run off. So yeah.
That's so funny.
Yep. So I have messed up on live television and I should wear it as a badge.
Yeah, yeah. It's first time for everything, you know.
Okay, 100%.
What's your favorite moment looking back at your time in Matilda? Is there like a specific thing that happened on stage or a specific memory that you look back on?
But you know what? I think like I remember changing tracks mid-contract and I had a bit of rehearsal. And I mean, when I tell you, I was one of those kids that knew everyone's track. So I could have been super swing. I just remember going on stage and just like having a completely different track, different costumes, different like harmonies. And I was like, oh my God, like this is crazy. How have I just done this like in the past couple of weeks? Just like completely transformed and like switched tracks. And I think for me, that was the big moment where I was like, oh my God, like I'm kind of good at this. Like not only good at just like performing, but also just like having a brain. And like at a young age, I was like, oh my God, maybe this is what I want to do forever.
Yeah. Oh,
That,
it's so nice
yeah.
that you know at a young age because then you can just pursue that.
Mm.
And you went to Sylvia's, didn't you? So how was that change from, did you do like mainstream school and then go to Sylvia's? How old were you when you did that change?
I I went in year seven, so like I went to normal primary school and then
Yeah.
straight into Sylvia's, which was like it's crazy. It's like I can't even explain it. It's like incredible. Like it's every like musical theatre kid's dream. And I lived it out for 5 years and just yeah, it was great.
What kind of routine did you have there? What was the daily schedule?
So it's still the same now. It's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you do your academics, so like your maths, your English. And then Thursday and Friday is just complete like musical theatre timetable, which is like crazy to think about. Like I could have never done 5 days of like mainstream school, like crazy.
Yeah,
But
I look back at school and I'm like, I had like physics, I had
yeah,
math,
no, no,
all of that
literally.
for a week. So, what did the musical theatre side of it consist in?
Oh my God. It was literally like almost like not more full up than college because it was only 2 days, but like we were having like three jazz classes a day, two singings a day, two actings a day, like two taps on a Thursday, two ballets on a Friday. Like it was very full on, obviously crammed into a little amount of time, but like it was just really it was very like college. And I feel like that's why I stepped into college a bit earlier than some people because
Yeah.
I really had prepared myself during Sylvia's.
Yeah.
So yeah.
How did you feel coming at 16 to Lane, and what advice would you give to people nowadays wanting to go at 16?
I think it's definitely a decision you have to think through. For me, like being at Sylvia's and knowing where I kind of how I was progressing and what teachers were telling me, of course, I was like, I'm going to go at 16 because I feel independent enough to move away from home. That's one thing you have to consider. And then I also feel independent enough to like navigate uni life.
Yeah.
Um, whilst like training in this crazy kind of thingy. And I think if you want to go at 16, make sure you really think it through and don't do it because you're just so eager and you just want to get out there. You need to know that it's going to be the right decision for you because sometimes leaving at 21, I'm going to be a different person when I'm 21 and I'm only 19 now. So I just if you ever want to do it, really think it through and but no, I think it is a really good choice if it's right for you.
Yeah, for sure. It really depends on the individual, as you said, like how independent you are living away from home. It's all
Mhm.
like it is specific to your situation.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Do you remember your first day at Lane?
Yeah. Oh my God, yeah.
How did you feel?
Oh my God, I was so nervous. Like
Oh,
I was
I think we
so
all
excited.
were.
Yeah, like I remember we all lining up outside like the old
Yeah.
build. Like, I was
And
like
do you remember? I always remember this. Miss Lane drove down in her car and she started honking. Can you remember that?
all in the way.
Yeah, and she was like, "Get
She was like, get
out."
like it was a weird time for us as well because obviously it was just after COVID. And like
Yeah,
I feel like we did get quite a nice welcoming because we did meet Miss Lane. She watched us perform and stuff. But
yeah.
weird time.
Very weird times. So, when you got to college, what was that difference between like having trained at Sylvia's and then like musical theatre, like full-time training? What was
Mm.
like your biggest challenge with that shift?
I think for me it was like just like I don't know, it was weird because we had like how to explain it. It was of course 5 days a week compared to 2 days a week is so different,
Yeah.
and it was much more sporadic at college, which I loved because I could go home in the breaks and stuff and etc etc. But it was definitely a bit more like you really had to prepare yourself for each class, and I feel as though the classes like were very different to Sylvia's for me, especially first year. Like Sylvia's, we were giving you legs, leaps, like very techie, and then going to Lane, it's very like, a bit more like body intimate. I feel like
Yeah.
coming to because
And they almost strip it back, don't they, before they add that like flavour.
and that was the biggest change for me, like stripping it back. But like looking back at it now, I'm so grateful that I did that because I'm a completely different dancer now than I was when I was 16. Like looking back at my Lane audition tapes, because obviously we did it on here.
Yeah, of
Um,
course.
yeah, like I'm a different dancer, and I think that is purely because I was stripped back and I kind of grew from there.
Yeah. What was your favourite class at Lane?
Oh, I think Jackie James and Jazz.
Oh, what a
100%. I think
class.
looking back at it, I like the structure and I just liked the choreo and I liked the corner work and it was different and it wasn't you. it was just really like I just had a lot of fun in those classes, and it was always very different as well.
Yeah, for sure. Um,
Mm.
then we got around to like doing prelims and stuff like that. How did you find like doing your prelims? Did you choreograph them yourself? Like, is that something that you enjoyed?
Yeah, I really enjoyed doing, especially my first year. I actually think my first year prelim was probably the best out of the three because it was obviously like everyone talks about prelims. It's the big thing at Lane.
Yeah.
Um, and
Oh,
in
by the
first,
way, for people who don't know what prelims are, it's like assessments, but they're like you choreograph them yourself. So you do like um a jazz one, and then if you in third year, if you do like contemporary one, you do a contemporary one, and then you do a singing piece and then an acting piece. So that's just context.
yeah, it's yeah, obviously like and then costumes and stuff as well. Like it's such a big thing, and like I put so much work into my first year one, and I'm so proud of how it came out. And I choreographed it all myself, and then yeah, I was really happy with my prelims in first year. I feel like they really kind of set me up. Um, as kind of like an individual growing because obviously like they're a
Yeah.
bit in the year and I feel like I was ready to kind of like this is where I'm starting and we're just going to see where I end up.
Yeah. And also it's like the first opportunity to actually sell yourself to the teachers, to Miss
And
Lane.
individual as well because we don't really get
Yeah.
that answers.
Yeah,
So yeah.
I just remember I had like my hair curled, and the
Mm.
only thing that Miss Lane said to me, she was like, "Oh, darling, your hair is gorgeous." And then I was like, what about my dancing, Miss
What about
Lane?"
my dance? I'm just like,
I was like, "Oh, I'll take the hair compliment, thanks."
run with it.
Hilarious. And then obviously we got Matt Cole as principal.
Yeah,
Oh, it's
literally.
sensational. I mean, what an honor to have him as
Mm.
principal. It's been a good time, hasn't it? We've only had him a year, but
No, yeah, he definitely came in and you know made stuff happen, which I think is great. So
yeah, and having someone that's so like current in the industry and even performing like Newsies original choreo in like our summer show. It
which were incredible. Like I
yeah,
watched it and was like,
yeah.
mm.
Obviously, when we got to third year, you will have started auditioning. So how was that? Because I remember seeing you in the foyer and being like, "Oh my God, like, are you in Hairspray finals?" And you were like, "Yeah." And I was like,
Mhm.
"Yay." So
I
how was
yeah,
that?
I had a crazy third year auditioning. I basically I've been on Spotlight since I was younger.
Yeah.
So going into third year, kind of before everyone was in Spotlight, I kind of had like the odd like, Adam, get me in for that. Like just
Yeah.
to kind of get my foot in. And I was kind of in finals for bits and bobs, and I was like, oh my God, what am I gonna book? Like, what's gonna happen? And then yeah, it was stressful because obviously prelims as well whilst I was auditioning, and then I had
Sure. Third year
major
musicals.
and musicals and like but yeah, Hairspray came around and it was, it was a hoot.
So good. How was your audition process for Hairspray?
Guys, I have a quite interesting audition process.
Go on then.
So I went in for my first round, um, and did Nicest Kids in Town choreo,
Yeah.
the dance break, which is hard if because that this show will possibly come back in the future. That audition dance is hard. So get your left leg kicks up, guys. Anyway, did the dance, got recalled to sing, sang my own song, and then I went away, and that was waiting to hear for a recall. And a few of my friends have been getting recalls, and I didn't hear anything. So I kind of, as you do, assume it's a no. Okay, whatevs. And then I did text my agent and I said, look, can you just like double check? Like, because I just want to know. And he said, yeah, they've just put you on a waiting list. I don't really know what's going on. And I went,
Oh.
okay. And then the week later, I get an email saying, you've got a finals for Hairspray on the Friday. So I was like, oh. So I've been fast tracked to finals, kind of.
Yeah, so
Um,
you did like first round
yeah,
and then you just did
did
final.
first round, and then went straight to
Mad.
finals, which like has never happened to me before, and I don't.
No.
It was crazy. So I went and did my finals, did the same choreo, same song, and then because there was more people on the panel, I think they'd heard me sing my song and thought maybe he could cover one of the tracks. So I actually got an email that night saying, "Look, I know it's a bit late notice, but can you come in tomorrow and just sing through the link stuff?" And I was like, okay.
Borrow.
I can't lie to you. I didn't actually know It Takes Two. I knew without, but I did not know It Takes Two. So I went in there, paper in hand, like literally trying to sing the lyrics right. The next day, and they were so lovely. Like the team that I've worked with Brenda Edwards, our director before, so she was just like absolutely sensational. She was so lovely. And then at the end of my audition, they said, "Jacob, do you tumble? Like, do you flip?" And I went, "Yeah." I was like, "Tick that box off." And then that was that. Said goodbye to that audition process. And then the week later, Adam called me in and was like, got the job. And I was like,
And then obviously you left college early, so you didn't do summer show.
well, it was weird for me because I'd found out I'd got the job in the January, like late January, and I
Mm.
didn't start in June. So like that was a long waiting process.
Yeah.
I did leave college early, but I was kind of waiting. And
Yeah.
of course,
I remember that because you couldn't do like summer show rehearsals because you weren't going to be there for summer show, but like you still had to wait it out.
I had to be there. Everyone was doing rehearsals, and I was kind of like going to the odd class.
Prep
Like
and tech, like our assessments and stuff. And you were like, well, I'm not even doing prep and tech.
I
So,
do, yeah. But yeah, so I definitely didn't leave earlier than some people, but I did leave before summer show. But I was so lucky I got to see the summer show. It was incredible.
oh,
And I got to kind of be there till the end, but I didn't get to go to my graduation.
I know. It was so sad. Whereabouts were you when we were all graduating?
I was in Manchester and it was Tech Week.
No.
So we had like a 10 till 10 tech day, and I was like, I just can't go. And they wouldn't give it me off, which is fair as we were in tech. But I was absolutely gutted because like it looked like such a good time.
Oh, it's such like a one-time opportunity as well. And to miss that's just so sad.
It was, but it was fine. I was given that beep, bap, beep, bap, beep, bap on stage.
Yeah. So talk to me about like your cover link. Like, have you been on?
I haven't been on yet.
Oh no,
So
hopefully soon.
I'm second cover, so a lot of our second covers in the show have been on, but I'm just waiting. I've done my cover run, so I've been on the stage, and I got to do it in Edinburgh. So like that theatre is massive. So I was like singing "It Takes Two" like I was at an arena,
Yeah.
um, and I've got some good clips and stuff to look back on if I ever, hopefully don't like if I ever do go on. But yeah, it was weird because I did my cover run about like last month, and I'm not gonna lie to you, like it's hard to keep on top of it when you're not doing it. So like, if I got called on today, I'd be fine. I know the track, but oh my God, I've got to look at those notes and that
Oh,
script
for
before.
sure.
Because like obviously I did my cover on so long ago, and being a second cover, it's less likely that I go on as much.
Mm. And I suppose like it's all well and good like knowing the lyrics, knowing the lines, but it's also like the backstage, like
Backstage,
pick
yeah.
this up, like that is probably the hardest thing to
Oh,
do.
yeah, I nearly forgot in my cover run. I was like, oh my God, he has to pick up a ring at the start of the, and like no one tells you that. Like, no, I mean, maybe some if it's something quite, crucial, they might, but like no one tells you like in your cover rehearsals, like you're there to learn the blocking and the singing and the dancing and the acting. You're not really meant to learn the backstage traffic. So you kind of have to be on top of that yourself and think, oh, I need a ring in my pocket for that bit. Like I've got a little list of all the stuff written down of what I need because you just never know.
Yeah, for sure. So obviously your ensemble track, I came to see it in Wimbledon. So fun, such a fun show.
But
How have you been have you been enjoying it? Like, is it
you know what, like we've had it really hard. We've had a 20-week touring schedule with no week off,
wow,
which
that is long.
any aspiring performers is unheard of. That's not typical for a touring production. You will normally have a week off. But we're allowed to do it. Like it is okay. It's not anything like wrong or anything, but it has been a lot. But oh my God, I literally am having the best time.
Oh, it's so good. And
Uh,
how do you feel about touring?
I love touring. Like I right now I'm in a gorgeous apartment. Like I've got a lovely city skyline view. Like I
Nice.
love it. I get to live in different places. And I'm saying actually you do save a lot of money on tour because you
Sure.
are kind of getting the money to live places and etc etc. But I just love it, and I've seen different places and the theaters. Like to tick all these theaters off my bucket list, like Edinburgh Playhouse, humongous. Like Liverpool Empire, all these theaters are gorgeous. Like Wimbledon is like one of my favorites. So it has been like the best time. And after this week, I've got December off.
Wow. The whole of
So
December.
in December, I am doing.
Oh my goodness. Well deserved break
Oh,
for sure. What has been your favorite location so far?
I think Edinburgh. Edinburgh is gorgeous. I
Yeah.
honestly, if anyone watching this wants to go to Edinburgh, just go. Like it is the most gorgeous city ever. It's so like cute and like wholesome. Definitely Edinburgh, and the theatre was a big highlight. But also Manchester was a great night out.
Yeah.
So Manchester's a good. We were there for 3 weeks because we opened there and we did some tech there and stuff. So definitely Manchester was good because we opened there and it was a good vibe. But Edinburgh was gorgeous.
Yeah. What locations do you have coming up that you're looking forward to?
So we're actually going to Aylesbury next year, which is my hometown.
Oh, Oh, that's going to be so special.
That's where I did my first ever panto. So like that
Oh,
is full circle.
for
Um,
sure.
theatre. We're doing the Bristol Hippodrome, which I know is a gorgeous theatre.
Mm.
Um, Woking, which again is near London, so I can have some friends in. Um, so yeah, so we've got some really nice venues coming up. We're also going to Derry, so we're flying back to Northern Ireland, which is always fun. Yeah,
Yeah,
but yeah,
all about the towns and everything.
exactly all about the
If you had a dream show in the future, so like we're talking like maybe
Mm.
after Hairspray, what
Mm.
would your dream contract be?
Oh, this is going to sound funny, but I do want to go back into Matilda, 100%.
Really, as one of the adult ensemble or as a character?
As one of the adult ensemble,
Yeah.
I would like to maybe cover the Doctor or be the Doctor, whatever. Have that little singing moment in the opening number.
Yes.
I do think whether that's I know it's going on tour next year or doing it in town. I'm not fussed. I would love to go back into it. But also Book of Mormon is one that I want to tick off as well.
Oh, yes.
I was in for that whilst I was in for Hairspray, and I had to take a step back because I got Hairspray. So
Oh, hopefully
hopefully
you'll
that
be
will come
back
up
again.
soon. And it's all about the timing, really. And
It
it's
really
always
is, people just say like when it gets to third year, it gets difficult because people are getting jobs and you're just like, oh, what do I even do? Like, how many agents do I contact? All of that. It's so stressful. And you're seeing people around you get jobs and you're like, oh, like, what about me? But it is about timing. It's
oh
about
my God.
being in the
And
right place, the right time, having the right hair color, being the right height. Like, it's all about that as well.
it's such a look thing, and it's nothing like we go to Lane and we train and we really kind of like become these talented like individuals, but there's only so much of that that's going to get you places. So
Yeah.
I do think like yeah, it's all about who you are as an individual, and that means so much more than your talent.
Yeah, I think that's really important, especially going in and showing just your true personality in an audition room can really go far.
That is like everyone always asks me like a stage door and stuff. What's advice for graduates or going into? And I literally say, you go to college and in a way they can kind of train you to be someone, and you don't ever want to be you don't want to go in and say the same things at auditions and go in and have a structure. You just want to go in and just do the audition, like be yourself and give that bit of personality, and because that's what they want, you
Yeah.
know like
I
we're at that
feel
point in the
like, yeah, I feel like at Lane they teach you like the discipline of it and how to like hold yourself in an audition room, but that doesn't mean go in and be like
no,
blank of
not
word. You still have to
no.
like bring yourself to that while still being polite, while still addressing your musician, while still um,
Oh,
you know, being
um,
like having that etiquette. That's
mm,
what Lane teach. But then
mm,
again, like along the way, people can forget that they actually like are their own person, and that's the most
yeah.
important.
And like so many casting directors are different as well. Like there's different energies and different vibes that they'll want. Some are younger, some are slightly more older and a bit more old school. And you just kind of learn that as you go by. And it is you do kind of have to, be aware of who you're speaking to and when you're speaking to them. And like, but also just going in and, this is your time that is being taken from you. You have to go in and you have to give them what they want and then leave and put it behind you and go get on with your life. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Mm.
Um, Stage door. Is that a
Mm.
weird experience? Like how, because
Yeah.
obviously like now you're in the cast and the followers
Mm.
of the show and fans of Hairspray itself. Has that been like a massive shift in your life?
Yeah, the stage door is a good one at Hairspray. We definitely have a good amount of people
Yeah.
most nights. And I love it. I mean, some nights I do just want to go home.
Yeah.
Um,
It's been a long
but
day at the end of the
no
day.
one no one's looking to like have a coffee 20-minute conversation with me. People just want their books to be filled with autographs, as I did when I was younger, and people just want a picture. And I love that. And like, walking out of stage door, if people want to approach me, they're more than welcome to. But also some people want to see the other people and people may not want to see me. So it's a weird thing as well, because when I used to go to stage when I was younger, I never wanted to like ask them or anything. So
Hmm.
if I want to go stage door, just literally just say, hi, can I get a picture? And people will honestly say yes.
Yeah, yeah. Such a fun thing. I mean, it never used to be as big
Oh
as
my
it
God,
is
it's,
now,
it's
I
so
feel.
big now. Yeah,
Huge.
yeah, it's huge.
So in the days, obviously because you're on tour, you can't regularly go to class. Like, how do you keep up with all of that? Like your
Mm.
fitness, I suppose, outside of the show?
Well, the thing with this show is it is full on.
Yeah.
And for me, like I at the start of the tour, I was really exploring the cities and I was really kind of doing fun activities. Whereas now we're at that point now where like I'm just so tired.
Yeah.
So, you know, if I can go to the gym, I will. Like we've got a gym in our apartment building this week, which we're me and my housemate are going to make use of. But yeah, you kind of have to just kind of like stick with it. But also it is quite nice just to do the job and then have like such a life outside of it. Like today, I probably won't really do that much until work because we're not needed till 6, which is incredible.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so like, but in my month off, I will be going to class and I will kind of be putting my foot back in those doors. But whilst I'm working, it's kind of like I'm just grateful for the job and the performance aspect of it, and that's kind of all that I need really.
Yeah, it's great. If you
Mm.
could speak to your younger self right now, what would you have told yourself?
Oh my God, just keep being camp and fun and live your life. Like it's not that deep. It's really not that
Yeah.
deep. You need to just go and have fun and like make friends and speak to new people and just like, yeah, just have like honestly, it's really not that deep.
Yeah.
And and I would say that to anyone as well, like not even just my younger self, like anyone, it is not that deep. Like we are not on the front line. We are
Yeah.
having the best time, like
Live your
performing.
life.
But yeah, live your life. Like there's so much more to like your self-worth than being on a stage. Um, and doing it eight shows a week for 6 months nearly now, like it there is so much more to that, more to it than that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's so much easier said than done. But like if you can really find that and find that like that life outside of all of this, I think it will just make you a better person and make your performing better as well.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. And the last question I always ask my podcast guests is if you could nominate someone to come on the podcast and I'll reach out to them, who's it going to be?
Oh, I don't know. I think my friend Freya McMahon, who plays Penny, I think I just butchered her
Okay.
name. She's literally next door. She went to Mount View, and this is her first job, and she's Penny Lou Pingleton.
She is
Um,
amazing. Yeah. I was thinking when I was watching the show, I was like, she's insane.
her voice is nuts. So I think I nominate her because she is so much fun, and she yeah, I think she's a really good example of like a graduate going into a job and kind of like, like she just, yeah, she loves it and she's incredible.
Great. Well, tell her I'm reaching out to her and we'll try and sort
Oh,
something out. She's up for it.
yeah, of
Thanks,
course.
Jacob. It's been such a lovely time chatting to you. Thanks for joining me, being the first in our year on my podcast. Many more to come, hopefully, because we've had a good year
We've had an incredible year. There are some incredible people and incredible like personalities that definitely need to be seen.
for sure. So stay tuned, I guess, guys. And we'll see you next week. And Jacob, have a lovely rest of your day.
Yeah.
Bye.